Welcome back. This is the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Morello. This is a real estate podcast. We talk to syndicators, multifamily investors all across the country. And today we've got a special guest. Alex is a little bit different. What he focuses on is a digital real estate. He focuses on advertising and helping people build their businesses. So digital real estate, Alex, you and I were just talking about that. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your theory on how real estate can actually be digitalized and how you want to grab that market share?
Yeah, no, it's something that we came about, a couple vets, myself included. We came together. I had a digital mentor a long time ago. And when I first got out and first got into business, the same week I got out of the Army, I got into business as a franchise consultant, franchise broker. And over that learning curve, I learned through him because he was running an $8 million a year digital company doing training programs and all this other stuff. We learned very quickly and over time that when people would go about, oh, I'm going to build a website, they just like, hey, I'm going to build it and they will come, right? But we found out everybody finds out very quickly it doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work that way.
So the tactics now. The tactics change and everything, but a lot of the basics of digital marketing and digital anything, you can think of it as anything. It remains the same. The concepts remain the same. If you have a digital asset, no matter what platforms come up, Facebook's been finicky as crap right now due to the elections. Purchasing any kind of ad space is ridiculous. I mean, it's very hard to build up. And what service-based businesses, the ones, if you get tapped all the time, if you get called by marketing companies all the time, that tells you one key thing. Everybody can do the same crap and it's not that hard, right? So what about all the companies that don't need it? Well, they have architecture, they have a longevity. You don't need to be a tech person to know that if you have a really good website or a good short name that just jives, it's incredibly expensive to buy. Yeah. You can go buy an internet business just like you can any other business right now that's generating revenue. It's going to have a multiple. Understanding what it does, and that's even part of the strategy of trying to dig into whatever niche or whatever you're trying to do. And so a URL may cost you $20,000.
Right.
If it's a good one.
If it's a good
that
one.
Is your it's your address. It's your address online. It's how you're found online.
You know, Alex, and it's based on WalterMorello.com was not taken. I was shocked, right? Nobody out there with this name, huh? Yeah. And so not getting a ton of traffic that's organic though. Like it doesn't just naturally, people don't just click that one in.
No, but you know who does? Type in Grant Cardone.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Type in anybody who has that's actually a positioning and a strategy and a tactic. If you talk to anyone who knows, who's been in business before, we tried to build a coffee cafe. We've done franchising. My background was in franchising. Brand development was my thing. And then I was just the youngest guy in the world doing what I was doing. So naturally they were like, hey, go talk to the kid. He knows about that stuff.
Yeah.
And my first big deal was I made $100 bet. I put $100 in advertising on Facebook and I bet he's an older man than me, but he's very, very awesome. And he said I couldn't find a franchise investor that would invest in a multi-unit deal, a multi-million-dollar deal on Facebook, because they just, investors aren't looking on Facebook. And this is back in 2016.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yeah, no, they are.
Guys were cheap then. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're cheap. And so I closed a 4-unit. I closed out all of Jacksonville and St. Augustine, Florida for Cinnaholic, which was a Shark Tank brand at the time. Yeah. And they were a Shark Tank build off. And it was this anyway. So we closed out that entire deal for $100 bet. And I was like, you can do this now. And then I went down that hole deep, man. And now I'm dabbling in like vacant land investments. I'm dabbling in stuff. I've got a cool mentor. That's awesome. So I've started learning the side, and I started working with, or just our friends before we even did the digital company. We just started working with friends in real estate investing. And then once I understood, there are a couple interesting things out there. If you don't own your own real estate, you're indebted to somebody else or some other company forever. And if you stop paying them, no matter what work you've done, no matter what you put behind that asset, it's gone.
That's right.
It's gone in a minute.
Yeah.
And I learned, Jesus, man, I learned so much in the several years. And with that real estate, there's just some very basic things you can do if you plan to be an investor for more than the next year. There's some very basic things you can do. And no matter what platform comes up, via Facebook, via Twitter, a new Twitter, a new Instagram, a Snapchat, whatever the hell it may be, because we don't know. Facebook's getting finicky every time they get taken before Congress. Digital marketers clinch. I don't know if you felt that, but
oh yeah, well, I'm in real estate, so now they won't let us advertise just about anything. And then I'm also talking about how you should quit your job and go make more money. And well, I don't say quit your job, but you should do something that more than just your job. And Facebook looks at that as making promises of income. I can't say anything real estate related, otherwise it's specialty. The only and like it's funny because they always say offensive content or sexually discriminatory, and I'm like, I don't think I said that, and I don't think real estate was that. So you have to keep reading their disclaimer, and it's like all these different things.
They'll drop. They've actually a lot of advertisers. Like if you have an advertising agency that works for you, and you're in investing, there's a good chance that your own advertising agency's ads platforms got shut down.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
For no reason, just gone. And they were probably freaking out.
Russell Brunson calls
like it's seen all across.
Russell Brunson used to call it Google slaps. Now we're calling them Facebook slaps, where Facebook makes a change and it's like, bam, slap on the wrist. You can't do that anymore. Now the advertisers, we're looking at it saying, well, fuck, like where do we find our next deal? How do people find out about us if we can't use this avenue that's been working really well? Because I'll tell you, during COVID, like right at the beginning of COVID, man, my Facebook ads were cheap. Like they were going so far, so much further. It's like everybody else pulled out of the market, and I must have been the only person advertising because my ads were going everywhere for small money.
And people were sitting around. Well, another reason people were sitting around consuming content.
Yeah.
So that leads me right back to kind of your point to this whole topic was digital real estate, right? Why is it important? Because no matter what platform picks it up, you creating content and linking it to a digital asset, not only does it like, because you can put stuff on Facebook, you can spend money on it, you can build up that asset, but what if it's gone overnight? Right?
Yeah.
Will you own it? The answer is no. Can you sell it? The answer is no. It's what I realized later on in business, because I went back to school and started my company the same week I got out of the Army. I was not business savvy. I'd just gotten back from my Afghanistan deployment. I was a little tweaky. That was my third deployment. I was toast and I didn't know. And once I started learning, I realized that I was in a pretty much a job that I took all the risk for, and I couldn't control the digital marketing of it very well. I didn't have a hold of that because it was associations and it was all these other things that were in place. And if you can't control it, your risk of exposure is incredible. And I didn't know that until later. Live and learn, right?
Absolutely. It's funny.
I don't know. I don't know anything about. I don't know much about investing right now. I'm learning.
Oh yeah.
And I have a good mentor. And he's walking me through it. And I'm going to do some research-based stuff for him, and I'm going to tie into deals, and I'm going to learn the processes and the daily rhythm before I do that. And I think that's a good way to go. But yeah, man, no.
I think your microphone is wobbling a little bit. I keep hearing the wobble.
Okay, yeah, no, it probably is a little bit. But as far as the digital real estate piece, my mentor came to me about 2 months ago, and he said, we talked about it when we sat down, and we said, bigger businesses approach digital assets differently than small and medium businesses. And we're like, yeah, doesn't everybody know that? Does anybody else know that you can go? I was a human intelligence collector. I was an interrogator in the Army. And so my natural proclivity is gather info, analyze, assess, and react, right? And I didn't know.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, no.
Badass. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it, but I'm done. I was smoked. I'd rather be an entrepreneur. Right?
You don't have to go.
I'd rather be known.
Thank you, for what you did, but like going forward, you can run with us. Yeah.
Like, if you want to thank me, help me out a little bit, like teach me something. And I'm gonna, like, if you want to help a vet out, Don't thank them. Teach them something to make them money. That's the best way you can do it.
I
right?
love that. And
Pay
I
it
love that you're
forward,
paying attention
right?
to your mentors. You got
So
mentors, and I love that.
yeah, you have to have it. Like, I searched for them and I couldn't find them. But the digital asset piece, from what me and my mentor were talking about, we found out two things. One, small and medium-sized business owners don't know how to do a competitive analysis online. There are spy tools and things out there. I can tell you exactly how much your competitor is spending, where they're spending it, what they're spending it on, what their ads look like. I can tell you how much traffic their website generates. I can tell you how they do it. I can tell you how they've built, and I can look at their entire history from when they've started throughout history. And I was surprised to find out that people didn't know this, because you were taught, create a business plan, create a marketing plan. But does anybody really do it? I don't think so.
No.
And so now that I've been testing and now that I've been looking, we realize something else. If you look at the digital side, like real estate, sure, there's platforms, there's really cool areas, there's places that you can invest in, there's other things. What's really important? What's really important? It's that piece of real estate. There's things you can add on. There's always things you can do to make it more attractive and more valuable. But what's the most important? What? Location, right?
That's it.
So same thing applies in the digital realm. It's the same exact thing. And now it's even more important. So how do big businesses do it? Big businesses will put together a business model on a digital asset. They will construct a digital asset that generates advertising revenue, that generates backlink revenue, that generates membership revenue. They'll piece it together over about a month or so. And so the byproduct of this revenue generating asset, this digital asset, is what they were gunning for in the first place. Say it was a large home improvement company on the East Coast that was doing acquisitions and buying all these home improvement companies, and then they're going to turn it over, and they need this home improvement site to generate leads for their home improvement company.
Right.
Well, what are they going to do? Are they going to advertise their home improvement company? They're going to do it, but they want a big filter. They want something big that generates lots of volume, specifically focused on that one thing. Right. And so they build a digital asset. What is it? It could be a remake of Thumbtack. It could be a remake of what is it? Find the local
list,
right?
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, most of those companies were owned by the exact same company, this exact same parent company. They're all owned by the same company.
It makes sense. So,
yeah.
Alex, you're dialing.
So anyway, I'll go on a roll. I'll go on a roll for a long time, man. Yeah. Ask away, whatever.
That's exactly where I kind of want to go is, how do real estate investors who are looking to buy deals, how do we find those properties? Like, how do we get a seller or a motivated seller to come in and seek us out and then click on our website, give us their information, or even better, like say, hey, will you pay me this much for my house? Here's my address, right? It's like if we could ask for the cake on a platter.
So you bring up one really big topic, and I can go roll into that one too.
Rock and roll.
We spent hours on this subject with other mastermind groups. We pay thousands to be in mastermind groups with other major marketers. And I tell you what, if you really wanted to do your own thing, I'm going to tell you the same thing. There are old, authoritative, good pieces of real estate out there that is for sale right now.
Really?
They have X amount of traffic.
Yep. So like We Buy Houses or something, like if I went and bought like We Buy Ugly Houses.
So guess what? It has revenue connected with it. Yes, it has a multiplier. Yes, it's an investment. Guess what? That investment may be just as much as some of the pieces of real estate and the investments you're making now in actual real estate, if not more. Right. So guess what? Now you have to figure out how to do revenue off that. Now you have to have an engineer or a tech person at your hip. My biggest piece of advice: find a techie, find a tech guy, find an engineer, find someone and pull them close.
Alex,
and if you do that and you treat them well, what's that?
Are you a techie? Are you that techie? Are you one of those tech guys?
I found out after stress and building restaurants and stuff, I can't be that guy. The best. I own a company that does this stuff. It's fine. I can do anything. We even pulled in a VR and augmented reality and virtual reality studio just so we could support that nonsense. Yeah. So if we want to play with stuff, we'll have fun. Yep. But I'm also trying to work on stuff for defense contractors right now in the defense contracting industry and trying to work on weird stuff for them. But kind of going back to roots like secure the country kind of thing, right?
Right.
But the biggest thing I can say is pull a techie close, pull an engineer close. They say a good partnership is you got to have a dreamer, an engineer, and a son of a bitch. Right.
Which one are you, Alex?
I'm more so. I say I'm a little bit of a combination between the dreamer and the son of a bitch, but more so the dreamer, I guess.
Yeah.
And so
my partner is the dreamer. That must make me the son of a bitch. So.
That's cool, man. You gotta and if you're by yourself or you're an investor, you gotta kind of be all three. But the engineer, man, if that's what you're lacking on the digital side is the know-how and somebody to guard, essentially to somebody to say, hey, look, this is a good thing. Just like anybody who could tell you what a good real estate investment would look like. That is somebody that you now need because there's two sides now. There's two big sides.
Yeah, absolutely. So get a techie close, you buy the domain, you get a techie close who can like monetize this thing.
Look, and a techie will tell you whether or not it's worth it because you may not have anything available right now. And the only other alternative is that you got to build it from scratch, which can take a long time, or you do heavy investments, but only that techie, only somebody who really knows what the hell they're doing. Like I can tell you about it because I've seen it. I can tell you about it because I've worked on it. I've built it. I've done it. But that's where me and my mentor were like, well, what if we just started big websites for people?
Right.
We have the teams to support it. What if we just started a big website that generated whatever the hell, and we just charged them like 50 to 70 grand or something like that. And, we spent 30-ish thousand into like really giving it some juice, like giving it the juice an asset would need.
Right.
Or like, well, we could do that. We could have together in a month or two.
Right.
We have the teams, we have the scalability, we have all the people.
Alex, excellent. You and I got to talk about this whole Walter and Morello thing. See if we can get it to look like Grant Cardone, where basically I just walk on a 10X stage, man. That's all I'm looking for.
Funnels. You just mentioned Russell Brunson, right?
I do like the funnels.
I use software that helps me. Mind map everything out. I've got to have those. I was kind of more or less an analyst and an intel guy in the Army. I have to have those. I build those for companies to sell you, okay, this is how shit's going to work. And we reverse engineered Grant Cardone's funnel system. We reverse engineered all that stuff. So did some other softwares, but it's they're impressive. Like consulting.com, B2B high ticket, something a lot of people don't learn. And I don't want to get into all the specifics because some investors may be like, hey, dude, I'm not a techie person. A lot of it goes, that's fine.
Yeah.
You just need to understand three basic things. It's incredibly complex. You probably need to have someone who knows about that, right? The dreamer, the engineer, the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You need to have someone who knows that. Two, that you can trust. I'd say that's why you take care of them, right?
That's right.
And then two, a digital asset is a place online that's not going away. Platforms will go away.
Right. Yeah.
You can sell a digital asset you own and control. A lot of companies like some we ran into this in the franchising realm. Common practice was an agency who had built you a website would, if you decided, okay, well, I'm not going to do your advertising agreement, or they would build the site and then you'd have this advertising agreement attached to it that said if you stopped advertising with them, they own the site.
No good. Alex, I got a question. If somebody wants to learn more about you and your company, what is the easiest way for them to get in contact with you? If they want to have you build a digital asset or just consult with you or get some information out of you, what is the easiest way for somebody to get in touch with you?
You know what? You can hit us up on, you can check us out or schedule an appointment on proreachresults.com. That's what we named the company. We're like Pro Reach Results, results oriented, ROI oriented, right?
Yep.
That's what everybody cares about. But they just go about it all screwed up. They have shiny object syndrome real bad. But the other way, you can always hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Alexander Hildenbrand. I do a lot of LinkedIn stuff. Like that's how I found you, man.
That's it.
I spend a quarter of my time networking. Not afraid to have a conversation. I love conversations.
Right.
But
and Alex, where are you at?
You can always.
Where are you at right now? Where are you living? You're in Florida?
I moved from Florida to Southern Arizona.
Nice.
So next to an old military base I was trained out of a long time ago, and I met my wife near Fort Huachuca. It's like Mexican border, south of Tucson.
Oh, no way. Very cool.
We're on like 20 acres. It's kind of like a zoo out here.
Yeah. That's a lot of land, but not a lot of land in Arizona. So we're going to end this podcast up with, again, what was the name of the website again, Alex?
ProReachResults.com.
ProReachResults.com. And your 3 pieces of advice, phenomenal piece of advice. Go again.
Pull an engineer, pulling somebody who knows the tech world. Create or own or purchase digital pieces of real estate, because you already invest in real estate. Might as well get into the digital ones too. And then 3, understand that advertising right now is all in set series of bid systems. Everything's a bid, which means no matter where you are or what you're doing, somebody else, even though they may not be the same eyeballs that you would say, oh, I compete with that person in business, but the eyeballs may be completely different. The eyeballs is what you're purchasing. Stop focusing on the idea of a lead and start focusing on impressions and your good messaging.
I like that. Gary Vee said that a while back. He said that he sat with Budweiser and they said, look, we're not competing with other beer companies. We're competing with water and soda. We're competing for the throat. And basically you're saying we're competing for the feed, where we're competing for their eyes. Is it cats?
A real estate investor, good example, real estate investor is saying I compete with other real estate investors. And that's not the case. A real estate investor is competing with real estate agents. Don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
Mortgage brokers. They're competing with tax people. They're competing, same eyeballs.
Yep. Lawyers, tax people, real estate agents. That's who we compete with. It's not
more so real estate agents, mortgage brokers. Yep. How much money are they dumping into it? 100%. You're competing with Zillow, bro.
Yep. Absolutely. Zillow.
Think about that.
Yep, exactly. So it's phenomenal. In fact, I said that years ago when we started building our website. I told my business partner, I was like, yeah, dude, our competitor is not these local realtors. It's Zillow. Like that's who we have to model. That's who we have to go after. And what you just said, Alex, is 100% true. This has been such a valuable, for any real estate investor listening, these last 5 minutes are probably the gold of this call. That's typical for the Alchemist Nation radio show anyway, because at the end, I always ask that powerful question, what are the 3 pieces of advice that you would give to somebody who's 20 years old looking to start this? Alex is a valuable person in the industry. He's a marketer. He's been in it. He's doing it. He's buying real estate himself as well. He's got mentors.
I'm in my first deals, man. You guys got to cut me some slack and give me some help.
Alex, anytime, any questions you have, man, shoot me a text. You got my phone number now. I run a mentorship program at GualterandMorello.com/mentor. But I'll hook you up because you're somebody I can learn from as well. So we can barter knowledge, information. So learn more about Alchemist Nation podcast. Give us a thumbs up, because those thumbs ups go far. Share, like, subscribe when you have a choice. I always work with the best. Alex, cheers to your success, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. We'll stay in touch.